Hey everybody, Brian here for Work to Game, and in this video we're talking about our top Nintendo Switch games to play with your kids right now. There are so many fantastic games, and there's a lot of games that did not make the cut when making this video, so we also have a couple honorable mentions. Now, if you guys have any awesome games that you like to play with your kids, be sure to sound off in the comments below and let's have that conversation around this amazing system and these amazing games. Now, I'm going to start and open this up with the first amazing game that you should be able to pick up and play with your kids is Super Mario Maker 2. This is a brand new game that just came out. Now, my daughter loves playing this game. She's really good at actually making insanely difficult, impossible to beat levels. Now, whether you have a creative streak in you, whether your kids have that creative streak and they want to design their own levels, there's also a whole internet version of many levels that you can play that are curated and have various ratings, so that way you don't end up finding just the most difficult levels that are impossible and end up frustrated. But again, this is just an endless Mario. If you've ever enjoyed it, you have so many options to play with. You also have the ability to change the theme. I personally love Super Mario World. That's kind of my bag, but at the end of the day, you can really go and have a lot of tools to play around with, and this is just a really fun family game, and I know my kids really love designing challenging levels, so that it really challenges my skills as a classic Mario player. Our next game is for those who have maybe younger kids and a little bit less of a challenge, but also at the same time have that classic platformer feel, and that's Yoshi's Crafted World. I've been able to play this with my kids and we have a blast. My wife actually loves it even more than I do, just for the collection game alone. There's a huge pedigree with Yoshi games, and honestly this should not be missed if you especially have young kids. So honestly, there's really nothing more to say and praise this game about, because it has so much replayability and it's such a really great starter challenge for a platformer, and then it opens it up to other games later if you decide to do so. It does have a multiplayer component, so you can play with more than just one person at a time, but again, it also offers the ability to go and challenge different things. So me and my family, we love sitting around usually at the end of the week and playing a little bit of Yoshi together and discovering all the craziness that lies within. And then for your fighting and just love of video games enthusiasts, you have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is a phenomenal Switch game, should not be missed. It's got a ton of features that allow you to really kind of set the difficulty and scale for your family if you've got really skilled teenagers or even young adults, versus the fact that if you got young kids and you want to kind of try to make it fair, a little bit even out, etc. The characters, obviously very classic video games, very beautiful, very colorful. The levels, they've really done a phenomenal job with this game, and it should not be missed. They continue to support it, and they bring out new characters from time to time. So if you're looking for a really good family game, this can support easily up to 4 players or more. And if you just have one Switch, that can all happen within the one console. Or if you have multiple Switches as a family, as there is a new Switch coming out that is primarily just for multiplayer, check it out. It should actually be a really good value for you, and it shouldn't be missed because it is Smash Brothers and it has such a pedigree within the Nintendo universe. For second place, we have a tie. First, we're going to talk about Super Mario Odyssey. This is just incredible, probably one of the best Mario games to date. When it launched alongside with Zelda, you had it both games as a 10. Zelda starting off the launch of the Switch and Mario within that first year. The beauty and the gameplay is just incredible. In fact, it was my game of the year for the year that it was released. But this is still a great game that I love to sit down and play with my kids, because it offers a lot of just discovery, conversation, and just fun. The skill level is a little bit more, so this would obviously be for kids who are a little bit older, but as Maddie, who is right now 5 years old, gets a little older, she's getting more and more skilled at this game, wherein the 2D games actually help kind of train those skills within Mario. So this is a really good game to have, because you probably are going to enjoy playing it, and my kids, before they had the skills, enjoy watching it, because obviously it offers a lot of visual there's a lot of impressive things to see about this game itself. But also, like I said, tying Super Mario Odyssey is the incredible Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This game launched with the Switch, and it's just as good. This is something that obviously has a lot more skill that's going to be involved for just your kids. So depending on how old they are, this is a game that shouldn't be missed, especially as they get older. But as a family game, as a game you can sit around and play together, this offers a lot of conversation and, hey, did you see that? Or, oh, let's go in that direction, or which direction should we go? So there is a really cool communal sense, even though it's primarily a single player game. But That all being said, those are, that's the second spot here, tying for second place. And before we dive into our number one, I do want to have 3 honorable mentions. Mega Man 11 is a really great game for young and old because essentially they give you a lot of difficulty skills here, so you could really level it down, and that way it's very accessible and easy to jump in and play and have a good time. From here, you can also go check out the Secret of Mana collection. This brings you 3 great, amazing games that are set in this kind of Final Fantasy RPG action kind of mentality. So I would highly recommend that you check that one out as well. Collection of Mana has multiplayer support, so for Secret of Mana and for Trials of Mana, you can actually play together at the same time. Now, it is a story-driven RPG, so it's not immediately multiplayer right at the start, so you do have to play a little bit, but being able to play with my kids around 5 years old, they seem to get it. But at the same time, I'll leave it up to you, and that's why it falls into the honorable mention. Last honorable mention is Octopath Traveler, a beautiful RPG. It's got the turn-based combat, so as your kids get older, you could end up kind of easing them into that kind of style. It has some voice acting, but the themes are overall pretty tame. They're not too risque, with the exception of a few characters. So I would rate this at least like, 8 or 9 or 10 and up as far as it goes. But other than that, any kind of the most risque stuff is in text, so if your kids aren't able to read at the time, you should be able to feel confident and comfortable playing it in front of them and around them. It is a beautiful game, it's a beautiful RPG, and it shouldn't be missed. And our final pick is Pokemon Let's Go. Because it brings in some multiplayer aspects where you can play together, this is a really great family game for kids really of all ages. They don't necessarily need to know what they're doing at all times, and you can end up being, as the parent or the kind of the main character, kind of driving which direction that you go. So it gives you a lot of strength there. Plus you end up having a lot of power and having 2 fighting against 1. That's kind of why it ends up taking the number 1 slot. The only points against it are you can't use kind of the professional or the pro controller for the Switch. You have to use the Joy-Cons or the Pokemon ball, and that's just kind of where that is. Ultimately, hopefully you guys enjoy any of the games that are listed here. If I missed any games that you were particularly fond of, like Mario Kart, it's a great game, highly recommend it, but it didn't make my top 5. Sound off in the comments below, let's have that conversation, and hopefully this video has been a help. If it has, be sure to hit that like button, share it out with anybody else that's gamers out there that are looking for some fun games to play with their family. But for Work to Game, my name's Brian, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Whoa, you guys are the best! Jorge, Kyle, Philip, 31 Edwards, Rock Druid, Corey Longwith, Aaron, Axis, Hambone, Lady Wild Plays, CNAVs, this is going too fast, Christopher, Phil, Shun, Dragons, Soul, Keen, Knights, Assassin, Carlos, Sherry, Robert, Leyland, Davon, Tim, Jojo World, Terrace, Sora, Scrub Lord, Trevor, Mill, Almond, 70s, Kimber, Tyler, oh my god, I'm so sorry, Cody, Legend, Carlos, Endless, Jonathan, Jade, Sai, Derek, Brandon, Aaron, Riku, Daryl, Chemistro, Lauren, The Wolf, the Gar, Kelly, Anthony, Solid, John, Huskray, oh my god, everybody, Dark Later, Christopher, Vestmans, Sean, Nopi, Brian, Tom, Dylan, Silent, whew, I missed your names. I'm sorry. I love you all. Oh my gosh, that was tough.